Hey friends, the Nerdy Pastor here. I'm on my day off at my house office here. And I wanted to share something with you in a devotional this morning. And I don't typically do a whole lot of devotionals. My channel focuses on some other things, but I thought I'd share this with you today. And I think it's easy for me. I think it's also easy for a lot of us that have a lot of, energy, and we love to focus on pursuing God and giving God our best and things like that. It's easy to forget how hard it really is to come to God. And I know that we can say, well, we believe in grace and we believe by faith, and we believe that, right? The reality is, a lot of times, we just don't recognize how absolutely miraculous it is that any of us even come to God. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle anytime it happens. And it's a beautiful thing when it does. And the reality is, it's all by God's grace. But God also gives the constant invitation. And I think this is a thing I wanted to share with you this morning. Really two things. That God is always inviting us. That God is always inviting us to come to Him. And you think, well, I've come to Him before, or I did that a couple times, or I did it on Sunday, and the reality is He's always inviting. As long as it's today and not the final day, the judgment, He is always inviting. And of course, it draws me to that passage in Matthew 11. And Jesus talks here specifically about the Father and the Son Himself, His own ministry. And He says this: all things have been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and the one to whom the Son has revealed Him. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy, my burden is light. So there's two things I want to share from this short devotional this morning. The first is this: the Father's plan is good. The Father's plan is perfect. The Father's plan is also in many ways mysterious. We don't exactly know everything about the Father's plan, nor should we. He's infinite and we're finite. He's inexhaustible and we are exhaustible very quickly. But it does say here that everything that has been given by the Father to the Son concerns God's people. So there's a comfort there that everything that the Son is doing has been given by the Father for His people. The Father loves us. The Father cares for us. The Father wants to comfort us. And secondly, the supreme comfort is Jesus, who invites us to come to Him all the time, regularly and often. The danger for me, the danger for you, is probably thinking about it occasionally. And then when you do, kind of mixing up how you got there. How did you get where you are right now if you know God through Jesus Christ? By grace. The only reason you are where you are right now with Christ is by grace. It's because He invited you, and it's because the Father planned in His perfect eternal will to draw you and to give you to His Son, and for the Son to invite you and to pull you into the love of the Father. But this is something I want to share with you for those of you that are beat up by your sin. For those of you that are trying to read theology books to work off and atone for your lack of zeal for God. For those of you that are trying to do more and to do more often good things, hopefully God won't notice all the junk and all the darkness in your heart and the low amount of love in your heart for God, the small burning ember in your heart for God. So you just keep in the groove and you keep doing the things that you just feel like you hope will please Him. You hope He doesn't get disappointed. And I want to tell you something today, that Christ says, come to me. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's not just for unbelievers, friends. That's for believers. Come to Him, weary Christian. Come to Him, you heavy laden, guilt laden, shame driven, person who struggles with doing too much or not enough, or doing all the things out of this sense of his disappointment with you? And the reality is he loves you. The Father loves you. Come to Christ, all who are weary and heavy laden, and take the yoke upon him that doesn't bring shame and doesn't bring guilt, but brings freedom and joy and hope in the Holy Spirit. Notice that the yoke is still a yoke, but Jesus says it's light. And Jesus says his yoke is easy. So I want to encourage you, friends, this morning. Jesus is the friend of unbelieving sinners. He is also the friend of sinful Christians. So as the friend of sinners, we need to be coming to him regularly. I need to be coming to him regularly. If he's the friend of sinners and you're a sinner, you need to be coming to Jesus. I want to encourage you with that this morning. Come to Christ. Go to God. You have a friend at his right hand, a friend of sinners, a friend who takes in the shame-ridden, a friend who takes in the guilt-laden. And I think about that passage in Jeremiah 2 about leaky, broken cisterns, and I think of myself, and I just think I'm like the leakiest cistern sometimes. Everything he puts in me just evaporates or leaks right out, and there's nothing there. Like, I thought he filled me up. And the reality is, go to Christ. Go to Christ. He is building you back up. He has justified that cistern, but it still leaks. There's still problems. Sin still has its way. Go to Christ. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. And take his yoke and learn from him to be lowly in heart, to be gentle in spirit, to be lowly in heart. And by coming to him, you will find rest. Friend, go to Christ this morning. His invitation is open, regular, and often. And he is inviting you now to come to him. No matter whether you have or have not 1,000 times or haven't at all before, his invitation still stands. And it continues to beckon us to come to him. I hope that encourages you this morning.